The way that tax was orchestrated, and my disagreement with it, my support of those who protested against it, was that it benefited those who had large stills, people who were established, like His Excellency. Those across the Appalachians and the rest of the Alleghanies, for whom whiskey distilleries were actually bartering cash. They didn't have species in western Pennsylvania along the Monongahela. They would use whiskey as actual means of cash. They lost in the bargain and paid a much higher percentage of taxes on it. So the small business owners were harmed, and the large business owners benefited disproportionately. That was my protest, and what I believe was the essence of the protest against this tax and why it was so harmful.
And some of that was unforeseen at the time. We were not as aware of our neighbors as we should have been. But at the same time, if someone is conducting all of their trade with others in such a barter fashion as you suggest, that means that they are not contributing to taxes in any form. And so therefore, at least one form was being taxed. And of course, there was the resistance to it was palpable from the beginning, but it very quickly dissolved into a question of whether or not the government had the strength in order to enforce its own laws and in fact function in the way it was designed to. For those laws had been passed by all of Congress, not just a portion of it. And so that should have been the argument earlier on, not once that law was passed. To argue in reverse and then to raise up an army in support of it, that act of rebellion, then suddenly there was the question of who is to answer for this. And then things become very intractable because the idea of letting Pennsylvania on its own send out resources in order to face these foes, that would be saying that that is their responsibility and that the government does not have the power to enforce its own laws, nor does it have the ability to protect its citizens. And so very quickly, of course, this escalated to being a cause that was one that would greatly split our preferences and our opinions in the cabinet, as you called it.